Here's a funny math fact. If we consider the original 9 races and 12 classes of the player's handbook, there's a total of 108 possible race class combinations. So, help me out with this question. How come that, with such a wide range of possibilities, our game tables always end up with the same race class combos? Well, there's a strong answer for that, or at least there has been for almost 50 years, and now that's about to change with the new OneD&D Character Origins rules. We had a good laugh on that in our last campaign. It's been some time that our group has adopted session 0 to build characters together. We usually build more than one character for each player, so that we can brainstorm different party configurations and have likable backup characters in case, God forbid, of a treacherous, painful, and unexpected character death. At the very beginning of the session, someone mentioned we could try to avoid the easy choices of humans, elves, and dwarves, since they're everywhere. Everyone quickly got excited about that and started to work on creative character build. And we ended up with 1 halfling rogue, 1 gnome wizard, 1 half-orc barbarian, 1 tiefling warlock, and 1 dragonborn paladin. Cuddles for us. But is that even a problem? My answer would be no, it's not, at least at face value. After all, the entire fantasy genre is made up of such tropes, and there's also lots of fun on taking those tropes and bending and twisting them along the way to end up with surprising and unexpected characters out of those classical race class combos. Here's when it becomes a problem. When the game rules drive players towards those same combinations. And that's exactly what's happened over the last 50 years of Dungeons & Dragons. Of course, that became more flexible with every new edition of D&D. When I started to play with Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition, for instance, only humans could be paladins. Dwarves, halflings, and gnomes could only be fighters, clerics, or thieves. Nothing else. Well, the only exception were gnomes, who could also be, guess what, illusionists. Yep, not even wizards, only a specialist mage in the School of Illusion. But if you don't think there's a hardcore, rules-driven incentive for race class combos in 5e, think again. You're probably familiar with D&D Beyond, Dungeons & Dragons' digital platform. There's a famous table of race class combos published some time ago, based on more than 100,000 characters created by D&D Beyond users. The data is striking. Roughly 1 in every 3 halflings, gnomes, half-orcs, or tieflings are built into their single classical classes, the same ones we chose for our campaign. But why players make those choices? The Dragonborn Paladin built by one of our players was the answer for that. That character was not built into what I would have expected to be the cliché for Dragonborns. I asked my player why that choice, and the answer was stark. The Dragonborn's ability score increase of +2 for strength and +1 for charisma was the perfect fit for paladins. But of course, one could always sacrifice the min-max approach to create an original character with an unexpected race class combo. The trade-off would be sacrificing character optimization to obtain the desired role-playing experience, which would not be a problem if D&D was not a role-playing game. You see, games have rules and goals. If you give me a riddle, I'll try to solve it. If you give me a puzzle, I'll try to assemble it. That's how games work. If you give a character class that benefits from certain ability scores increases, I'll find the race that best suits those modifiers. That's a clear incentive provided by the game rules. And that is the real problem. Because the game rules are setting opposing incentives to creative storytelling and role-playing, which thrive in the surprising characters that may come out of unexpected race class combinations. Tasha's Squadron of Everything had broken loose the association of ability scores increases, but with 2 clear problems. One, that didn't make part of the core rules, of course. And two, it didn't replace the race modifiers with anything, just let you free to distribute them however you wanted. And that really bothered me because it allowed even further min-maxing with very low role-playing incentives in return. That's why the changes brought forth by OneD&DCharacterOrigins are so welcome. Ability score increases will now be associated with character backgrounds, entirely apart from races. That's a welcome double incentive for creative characters, role-playing, and storytelling. On one hand, all 108 possible race-class combinations will now make true sense, with no sacrifice of character optimization. On the other hand, backgrounds will now have a greater impact on gameplay, that will increase incentives for players to better explore their characters' backstories and justify the ability score increases they will get. It's game mechanics supporting role-playing, just like role-playing games are supposed to be.